Matt Berner, you're taking a look at the first of two graded stakes races on the card Saturday at Santa Anita. Race number 5 is the Grade 2 Kona Gold, 6.5 furlongs on the main track. Before we dive into the field, I'd encourage you to head on over to DRF Bets, sign up for a new DRF Bets account. The address, drf.com/join, the promo code TV150. You'll get a $150 sign-up bonus at DRF Bets. Let's take a look at the field. Very, very short field, but you've got a pretty solid field. Field of 5 that are going to go 6.5 furlongs. Let's take them right in post position order. The number 1 is Blame It on the Law for John Sadler. This horse is slow on paper. Needs to run the race of his life by far. No question about it. From a buyer standpoint, only has one race that's even competitive in here. I think if you're looking at this horse, you're looking at underneath only, trying to get a little bit of a piece, maybe spice up some sort of an exacta or a trifecta. The number 2 is Bobby Abu Dhabi for Peter Miller. This is a horse that was very, very impressive in the Triple Bend most recently, a Grade 1 event, going 7/8 of a mile on March the 10th. He gave City of Light a pretty stiff test, and City of Light ended up turning him away, but that's nothing to sneeze at, considering City of Light came back to flatter that form, winning the Oaklawn Handicap with a 107 Beyer speed figure. If you believe that Bobby Abu Dhabi runs that 103 like he did most recently, not only is he a likely win contender, he is arguably the horse to beat in this race, especially when we consider and consult the Timeform US pace projector. And you can see the pace projector. There's a blue bar, meaning it should be favoring horses on or near the early lead, and Bobby Abu Dhabi is the one that is out there cutting the fractions. So this horse could get very brave on the front end, particularly if he is left alone to dictate things. The number 3 is 10 Blessings for Bob Baffert. You have to go back a little while now. Go back to 2016. He was the 8-5 favorite in the Grade 1 Malibu in the final start as a 3-year-old. Then, unfortunately, we didn't see him again until March of this year. He came back, ran well against Dr. Door over a wet racetrack to finish second. 98 Beyer comes back, gets through the non-winners of 2 other than condition, most recently with a 99 Beyer speed figure. He's going to be in a nice sort of, I don't want to say darn if you do, darn if you don't position. I think he's going to be able to get up there and sit just off of Bobby Abu Dhabi. He should have every opportunity to get the job done if he's good enough. The question is he good enough at this point in his career? Off of such a long layoff, you wonder. He just has not quite been the same. He hasn't been bad in these 2 races, but he hasn't been nearly as brilliant as he was in his later stages as a 3-year-old. So we'll find out. He should have every opportunity if good enough, but we'll find out if he is good enough to get the job done. Number 4 is Calculator for Peter Miller. Calculator is a very cool horse. He's run in the past against the likes of American Pharaoh and Lord Nelson and Ohm and you name it. He's run against a number of good horses over his career, and it seems like his career has had a second life or a reawakening since going to the turf. Now he comes back to the dirt surface. I'm not convinced that he is as good on the dirt anymore as he once was. Keep in mind, he's had a number of physical problems, and I think he still does his best work going down the hill at Santa Anita. The problem is, if there aren't races, and there at this point in his career, there are only a handful of spots where he can actually fit going down the hill. You got to try a spot like this. He is certainly not without a chance, but he's the kind of horse that I would probably be leaning against in a race like this, considering his recent dirt form just leaves a little bit of something to be desired. Then number 5 is Ransom the Moon for Phil D'Amato. We have a negative formulator fact for Phil D'Amato. Over the past 5 years, 61 to 180 day layoff, graded stakes races, 2 for 26, 14 of them in the money, though, with a 46-cent ROI. This horse, once D'Amato got him and they put him on the dirt after campaigning the beginning, let's call 2/3 of his career on synthetic or turf, he had just had an absolute reawakening and turned into a different animal. He is a Grade 1 winner. He won the Bing Crosby back in July last year out at Del Mar. He finished fair enough in the Breeders' Cup Sprint when you consider the horses that finished in front of him include Roy H., Imperial Hint, and Mind Your Biscuits. Not bad company to be keeping. This is certainly going to be a little bit of a class drop for him in this spot in his first start as a 6-year-old, but there's just enough here that it makes you wonder. That Santa Anita Sprint Championship 2 starts back wasn't particularly strong. A strong effort from him anyway. And then you come back and you see that sprint. He ran well, but not particularly well. Not as well as he had been running over the summer months. What are we going to get here off the layoff? Is he going to be ready to fire fresh? Because he's probably going to need to run every bit of his best race, if not then some, in order to turn the tables on the likes of 10 Blessings or even Bobby Abu Dhabi. Ransom the Moon, certainly a contender in a very, very competitive but short field in the Kona Gold. Let's take a look and see where I landed in the Kona Gold. I'm going to go with the number 2, Bobby Abu Dhabi. I just think that tactical advantage, and I wonder if he's the kind of horse that's coming into his own now for Peter Miller. Figures to be forwardly placed. I think he can get the jump. Obviously, he's going to be right out there. I can't imagine that he's going to be coming from off of anyone. I think they just go from there. Victor Espinoza, send him to the front. 6.5 furlongs, not going to be an issue. And look, He ran a good second to City of Light. As good as these horses are, City of Light looks like he could be the upper echelon right now. I think Bobby Abu Dhabi has a big chance to get the job done here in the 5th at Santa Anita on Saturday, the Grade 2 Kona Gold. If you are playing the Kona Gold or any of the Santa Anita card on Saturday afternoon, check out DRF Bets, up to a $150 sign-up bonus. DRF.com/join is the address. The promo code is TV150. Scheduled post time for the Grade 2 Kona Gold. Race number 5 at Santa Anita is 5 o'clock Eastern. Best of luck.